So if we could start with you.
Right, thank you. So I think one of the shift they are seeing in the business priorities for next year. Usually, when there is a shift, they also want to make that shift very smooth, and that's where we focus part of the budget from an L&D perspective over there. And like for this year, the COO has taken one of the L&D programs as his part of goal set also. So that's one thing that time of budgeting only we start to look at what are they planning, how they're going to achieve the revenue numbers, and what are the shifts they are looking at, and we kind of propose one or two solutions to them and start budgeting that. So part of that goes over there, and part of the rest of the budget goes into some of the routine brushing up the whole of the routine stuff for them. The second thing which has kind of worked well for us post-COVID is that a lot of changes are happening. So we are also throwing a lot of data to them that these changes are happening, and some of the partners from L&D firms are also helping us kind of make them aware. That also helps us build consensus to say that this is what we want to take it forward and not take it forward. So maybe COVID has helped in changing that mindset of saying that there is too much change is happening very fast, and how L&D can bridge that gap. One thing which we have not been able to solve is that for some programs we are able to show the ROI, some are ROI you can't show in 1 year, maybe it's a 2-3 year mindset change, behavioral change, which will take some time. I think that's the area where we struggle at the end of the year. They do ask us, the leadership team, that what's the impact of this program. So that's the one area specifically which is lacking. Not on the technical side, more on the behavioral side. Technical side, it's pretty much visible when you are launching new tests, bringing new technology. We are able to showcase outcomes which are very tangible. So just for example, we have now started using AI as an aid for the doctor to do better diagnosis of certain tests, which are histopathology tests, where you look at slides and all. Now, the uptake of those kind of trainings and technical investments from an L&D perspective is pretty high. But yeah, behavioral is something I think I would like to learn, that how do you show ROI to them in 1 year's time. That's what is happening.
And just to add on, in our organization, if I relate with the L&D, of late we have moved from KRAs to OKRs. Right? So from, if I talk about OKRs, we have taken the moonshot goals. Right? So of course, these are highly ambitious goals. At one front, people said it's not possible. On an average, companies talk about having a goal of 10%, maybe 20% growth. Who takes 50% growth, which are 1 month that people are making. So we have taken moonshots goal, right? So on that, we have thought about it. The challenges here, right? When we closed Bharat Vichar last year and moving to 2000 CR, right? So it will come with their own set of challenges. So with this intake, we have of late done the competency that as an organization, as a sales or as a manufacturing or as a support function, what competency or the kind of stage as an organization we are at, and the stage where we want to be. So what competency we feel that are we required to be more agile, more customer centric, more in what, right? So we have identified those competencies, and basis those competencies, we are training, we are uplifting our people so that they get to have that arm, that ammunition, that tool to help to support company to that level, right? People say bluntly in the meeting, right? Ki what all we have taken, we tend to fail. So what we say as an organization, forget about we fail to reach 2000, right? But even if we achieve 50%, then we'll be achieving a lot compared to, right? So that's a tendency of organization. They always keep a goal, seeing a benchmark कि कहाँ पे close किया है. तो उसके को लेते हैं 20% लेते हैं, उसके को 10% लेते हैं, right? So that is not the case over here. So it is all about developing your people, right? If I, for example, if I'm HR, if I'm heading HR, so what I have to do to take myself to go to next level, right? Similar, same thing goes with other functions also. What they have to do to take themselves So unless and until you take yourself to the next level, you cannot take company to the next level. So that's where we are putting a lot of emphasis on this L&D.
So yes, speaking to HR, especially from the setup which is technology driven to the emerging technologies and IoTs of the world, right? And supporting the telecom business scenarios in India. So while I have faced a lot of challenges, I'm still struggling, right, with reference to the perspectives of ensuring that, right, one, to get the necessary budgets, because what Amit mentioned about, right, I wanted to learn from him that aspect, that how he is convinced, right? Because see, I prepared an X budget plus 10% of that as a behavioral budget, right? So when I prepared and proposed that, so there was uh, an outcome from the CEO that was, ये trainings तो ठीक है, right? But इसको अपने लोग नहीं कर सकते,
True.
right? Because we are technologically driven organization, we have the necessary competencies also which are available. So I said yes, these are the trainings which I can arrange. I have actually captured this budget and showed him also that this budget is basically to be extended to the internal trainers. But when it comes to the external trainers, right, यार इसको अपन फिर एक काम करते हैं, इसको बात कर दो, पहले ये करो. That is the true perspective of every discussions with CTOs and CEOs, right, wherein the struggle comes in. And then the behavioral aspects, when I proposed, right, कि सर 10% तो दे दो इसका, right, इतना तो बनता है, right, तो यार HR किस लिए है? Right? तो आप लोग क्या करते हो यार? So that's general fact, means jokes apart, but that's the industry demands, that's the business demands. This is that when we are generating business, it is important and imperative for you that you work out as a cost center. And when it's a cost center, you have to show your expenses. And that's something which actually drives to, again, the topic of what Aminji has brought into the table, that if HR
Why do you call me Amit?
no, sir, that is there. that's I think
Indianness,
correlate.
Indianness of L&D, which is brought from the roots of the parent.
Have a lot of
Support.
I've lost some hair, but I'm sure I
No.
old.
so
Age is just a number.
age is just a number, right? It's the passion which you bring in, no doubt.
We should remain young at heart, actually. That's what.
So that's the perspective, means I have been struggling as an HR, right?
Let's learn from Amit. 10 lakh budget
Yes.
to
हाँ, वो
1.75
बताओ यार.
lakh.
सुनने में मजा आएगा.
So,
Yes,
I think the key is that, I saw the journey downwards. So I started thinking like a CEO of the organization. The merger had happened very recently, and I joined. And my first question was, why do you want to set up this department? Is there any pain that you want to address? So figuring out what was the pain of the management, right? Figuring out the journey or the destination where we wanted to go, and then creating a complete SWOT of the organization as to what are our strengths, what are the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I did a complete business planning strategy, building of the business. Then divided my training programs in different segments. These are functional skills, these are behavioral skills, these are leadership skills, and so on and so forth. And then, you were talking about the challenges, management says, why don't you do it internally? So I propose them. These are the trainings that we can do internally. But this, we need external people, because, so if I go and tell you that, see, your communication is not good, you would say, boss, mera kaisa hai? You would not listen to me, right? For that, you need somebody who's influential. right? At the risk of naming, the cliche Kotler's stinge management model, right? You need to always bring that influence of external consultant to bring about that mindset shifts. And I realized it very soon that the shift in the mindset of the management was required, because unless they speak that language, people down the line will never be able to, right? So design the programs in such a way that the first thing that we should bring about is the change in mindset. The people should talk about, "Arey, मेरी company का vision ये है." The moment they start talking about मेरी company का vision ये है,
It also creates sense of belongingness.
it starts building that sense of belonging, right? And how I did it, it was free of cost. The first change that I brought in the organization was we started doing induction of the people, which was not happening. And in that induction, we started talking about vision, values, and all sort of things. And when people started talking about those visions, management realized that it is making a difference. Actually, they are talking my language, right? So there is something happening, right? Secondly, fear. We are always afraid. यार budget propose करेंगे तो he'll kill us. So, in fact, I had an argument with one of the promoters in the meeting room, and he was, talking about supporting something, and I said, no, I don't agree with that. He was like, that means you're not trainable. I said, okay, if you want to believe that I'm not trainable, I'm fine with it. But you need a strong logic to convince me. Unless you give me logic, I will not be convinced, because I'm convinced with what I'm proposing right now. Right? In that meeting room, they said, what is the first thing that you would want to bring in the change in the organization? I said, Excel skills. Sounds trivial, right? Excel, what are we talking about? But then they were like, why Excel? I said, okay, man, you are doing a lot of data crunching, but who's doing it? Nobody knows Excel, right? And then that's when, the thing started. So you just need to understand the pain of the organization as an L&D function. And I just did not propose trainings. I proposed a complete intervention which involved a complete event. We spent close to 70 lakh rupees on that one event with 250 odd people, including the management. And that is where, the ball started rolling. We gave it a theme. The theme was attached to the purpose of the organization, right? Realign, resolve, right? And every time in the meetings, even now, people say, one CHRO. That was the motto. One CHRO. People actually say, sir, अब तो हम one CHRO हो रहे हैं, तो हम साथ में मिलके क्यों नहीं कर सकते? अब तो हम one CHRO हो रहे हैं. So when people start talking like that, you know that